Chairman of the occasion, His Eminence Dr. Saad Abubakar Zafar, Sultan of Sokoto. Special guest of honor, President Muhammadu Buhari, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Date, 29 September 2019. Time, 9:30 in the morning. Venue, International Conference Center, Abuja. You can send your donation through Jais Bank. Account number 000-489-8267. Announcer, Planning Committee.
The 59th Independence Planning Committee wishes to inform all invited guests to the 2019 anniversary dinner and gala night to be held at the Conference Center of the State House on Tuesday, 1st October 2019 at 6 p.m. that they are to park their vehicles at the Eagle Square, where buses have been provided to convey them to the State House. Members of the Diplomatic Corps will, however, be allowed to drive in their vehicles to the venue of the dinner. Boss Mustafa, Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Chairman Planning Committee, announcer.
Hello?
Hello, Kenny.
You feel make 10 tops by this time next week? Sharp.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, talk later.
You get money now.
Hurry up!
My pikin, how you doing?
Papa, I say make I remind you about that loan.
Loan, I beg.
Hello, Papa.
Your move.
Hello, sister of life. I won't remind you of that loan. Wait. Hello?
The number cannot be reached now.
Hello, Oga. Your clothes already.
Are you an entrepreneur looking for financing to grow your business? Here's good news. Development Bank of Nigeria now provides sustainable financing through commercial banks, microfinance banks, and other financial institutions with repayment terms of up to 10 years. Please do remember, paying back your loan in good time will give you access to more loans.
Development Bank of Nigeria. Financing sustainable growth.
It's the Republic Concert Independence Edition. You don't want to miss the biggest concert experience in the capital, featuring Joe Boy, Psycho Wipey,
I just wanna be like you.
and more. Toast to Nigeria, because we're lighting up the skies with fireworks as we count down to independence. Dance Battle Finale happening on the 30th of September at Millennium Park, the Republic, powered by OSGF. Brought to you by Edgemax and Sosa.
You're welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Perennial flooding is still a challenge in Lagos. In spite of flood prevention and management initiatives by the state government, experts say although flooding cannot be ruled out completely in a coastal low-lying state like Lagos, more strategic plan that includes restructuring of drainage channels are required, as Jennifer Igwe reports.
The slightest rainfall and most parts of Lagos are flooded. Ocean surge also occasionally inundates coastal communities with flood. These scenarios are continually reoccurring and wreaking havoc.
Because of the topography of Lagos being low lying, you would expect that we have continuous flooding. Continuous flooding not just from the natural disaster level, but also contributed by human activities.
Before constructing structures, in the area, an underground tunnel where water could come in, travel, and similar to what obtains in, say, the Netherlands, should have been constructed. And I believe attempts could still be made to get that done.
Frank Ikwenwa is the chairman, Lagos State chapter of the Nigerian Society of Engineering, Geology and Environment. He says controlling and mitigating flooding in a coastal and low-lying state like Lagos requires more holistic engineering system that includes appropriate hazard mapping, drainage upgrade, effective monitoring and data collection.
What we do in this part of the country is to build drains, the one we normally refer to as gutter. But those are not, for effective flood control and mitigation, you need much more than drain. There could be engineered pumping, there could be artificial collection points for flood water that will be pumped directly from that point back into the sea or into the lagoon as it were. So we must have a holistic approach.
Creating more green areas, well-structured shoreline protection mechanism, and restoration of wetlands, other experts say, are key to addressing the never-ending challenge of flooding in Lagos, especially with more glaring effects of climate change. In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
For residents in the confluent state of Kogi, annual flooding with various degrees of devastation is a lifestyle they just have to cope with. And so our correspondent Onotu Yakubu tells us about the plans being put in place by residents of Lokoja.
This was the plains of the rivers Niger and Benue 2 to 3 weeks ago, with high water volume resulting from the flooding of the two rivers. Today, residents of the flood-prone areas have heaved a sigh of relief as they return back to their homes to grapple with the challenges of daily living as the water recedes gradually. Lokoja Area Manager, National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, Boniface Akubo said, even though the water is slowly going down, he, however, cautioned the victims to be wary of post-flood dangers.
This flood is a natural thing. You cannot avoid it. It's normal. So you advise those staying close to the river to stay away, to move out of such locations.
The major worry now are the post-flood health hazards and other challenges to contend with as the victims make their way home. Angulu Atodo, who is one of such returnees, says apart from sweeping and mopping the house, he has also taken other precautionary measures against reptiles and aquatic animals who may be lurking around the household.
I go back because of all this snake. I have to pick up fully the city all before you live here now.
What measures have you taken to make this place habitable?
Nothing, no. I don't even have money. I've spent a lot, so I don't have anything. It was washed with water.
Just water. Any other thing?
No.
Disaster managers, nonetheless, advised victims to be wary of food, health, and water impurities as they return home, as well as manage their environment with adequate sanitation. From Lokoja, Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Residents of more than 300 homes are displaced in Yobe State by the inundating flood. Mustafa Yusuf Musa, however, reports that the government is not resting on its laurels.
In Jerusalem town in Fune local government area of Yobe State, situated at 5 kilometers away from Damaturu, the state capital, has been experiencing flood disasters year in year out since 1976. This year's flood was triggered by early morning heavy downpour in the town, which according to the State Emergency Management Agency destroyed more than 300 houses and submerged the market. During a sympathy visit to the people and emir of Ngalzarma, the State Deputy Governor Idi Berde Gubana recalled that this is a perennial problem requiring multifaceted approach.
The only solution is for people in Ngalzarma to get a place outside this place to get us out from this flood. And secondly, immediately His Excellency, the head of the police directed that we should go immediately and see and assess the situation, and then direct the SEMA DG to immediately give the full caution materials. As of now, you have seen how it appears. People are running away from their lives, so you cannot be able to even get away from your foodstuff and other things.
2 weeks into the month of August, Yobe State has recorded 3 major incidences of flood disasters in Galda in Fika local government, Patiskum in Patiskum local government, and Galzerma in Fune local government area. In Damaturu, I am Mustafa Yusuf Musa, NTA News.
Now, increase in the rise of water level comes with increase in destruction of property in Delta State. In such painful sight, Austin Edemolu reports that the government is left with the options of sensitizing the citizens and relocating them to artificial and higher grounds.
Delta State has had its share of devastating floods as experienced in 2012 and 2018. The inhabitants of the affected communities are becoming apprehensive.
If they can help us, everybody is ready to come out.
The Delta State government, through the Bureau of Orientation, is not taking chances. It has embarked on sensitization tour of the affected areas for possible evacuation.
Has directed the Bureau of Orientation to go into the rural area, riverine areas, to talk to them about what is coming. The Delta State government is moving beyond that to set up IDP camps when due.
This orientation, in collaboration with the local councils and community leaders, will spread across the communities that have been identified as vulnerable. In Asaba, I'm Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
Well, indeed, it's a flood everywhere. It's an annual ritual and respecter of no one. Now, how can this annual pain be mitigated, as we just saw from the situation reports across the nation? Mustafa Mehaja is the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency. He will tell us about the efforts being put in place by government and other concerned agencies and bodies. That will be after this break. Don't go away.
Let's come together as we celebrate the uniqueness of our cultural diversity, showcase our creativity and ingenuity. It's the National Festival for Arts and Culture, NAFEST 2019, in the ancient city of Benin, Edo State, the heartbeat of the nation. Theme, our reality, our pride. Holding 19th through 26th October 2019. Highlights will include drama, children poetry performance, essay writing competition, crafts competition, indigenous cuisine, traditional wrestling, indigenous fabrics in royal apparel, cultural quiz competition, board games, and what's more. Oh yes, it's the National Festival of Arts and Culture, NAFEST 2019, Edo State, Nigeria, holding 19th to 26th October 2019. We are celebrating our heritage. Otumba Olusegun Onshewe, Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, announcer.
I feel alive, so alive, when I'm with my best friends, indulging my G exotic. Nothing makes my drink more than when the mixer is delightful G exotic. And after a long day, I wanna relax with the taste of my G exotic. I love the taste of G exotic. I love the taste of celebration.
I love the taste.
G exotic nectar. I love the taste.
Hey, you! And are you how they talk to? I sabi you now. It's in your mind, Abi. The person with them go help us. Baba Toros and Shangalo. Oganekuva, Mr. Sabi. And you know if we carry last for this one.
A spear into the top corner.
We sabi say Peking will crawl before in waka. So don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for it. Go for football. Go for Osirio on the Liga Marchings live. Go for Go TV Max.
He's sending me this type of letter. So, this type of celebration is going to happen in Lojaville. This is great. NTA and the village headmaster family are going to celebrate 50 years. Wait, you mean people have been watching village headmaster?
Kabesi, I agree with you. They have killed me, Kabesi. They have killed me. Oh, they have killed me. Those big people in Lagos. Import license. They have killed me.
Come October 8, 10, and 11. I, Teacher Fadele of Oja Community School, will be there, live and direct. I will laugh, dance, and even dance asonto and shaku shaku. And when Sonny Ade plays, I will dance Showambe. It's going to be a great celebration in Oja Village.
You're welcome back. And now with me is Mustafa Mehaja, who's the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency. Good evening and welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you.
Yes, we've been meeting here from time to time since the rainy season started. We are in September at the moment, and there seems to be more devastation by floods in many parts of the country, unlike what the nation witnessed in the month of August. Now, from the NEMA point of view, do you have any information which you'd like to share with the public as to the current flood situation in Nigeria at the moment?
Well, most importantly, flooding is a monster. It's a situation where a good number of people are being displaced, properties are being lost. So what I can share with Nigerians are mainly that we should adhere to advice by the professionals, agencies who are responsible for this. Secondly, we should desist from doing anything that will cause havoc in the future. But the fact is, rain is really season, is going away. Devastation that has occurred to about 25 states in the case of rain, whereas other disasters that happen like windstorm, rainstorms, made the whole number of states to about 29, including Abuja. So what will draw the attention of Nigerians is they should adhere to advices and sensitization exercise that we have gone through. So it was very effective to a certain extent, but we find so much difficulties in getting people to respond to such kind of advices.
So what kind of advice are you talking about here? Is it, well, the information on the expected flood or what?
Yes, first of all, issue of response or preparedness to disasters is multi-agency, it requires multi-agencies activities. So NIMET and NISA gave us the flood outlook and prepare us to get ready, and we set up a sensitization and advocacy campaign to the public. That is one. So in doing that, people, some respond, but many do not respond to the advices. Also, the respective governments, particularly at the state levels, they need to enforce this issue of building codes, enhance the waste management system, which is really causing most of this havoc, because if there is flash flood, the water could not get, doesn't have a free flow to its own canal. So that causes a lot of floodings. Like this year, most of the cases we have regarding flood are from torrential rain. It's not like the river flood we had in 2018. River flood is more scaring, is more devastating because it came in large volume and affect larger areas. But for flash flood, it's mainly because of human activities or inaction on the part of some governments.
You made a very good point here. Flash flood is as a result of inaction or, non-adherence to some sensitization on how to handle such situation. All right, now we understand that IDP camps in parts of the north were seriously affected by flood this year, and these are people who already are not in their ancestral homes, so they are going to have more difficulties handling the situation. What have you been able to do to assist this vulnerable group of Nigerians?
Well, first of all, the issue of flooding is not restricted to people in their homes or outside their homes. Although, not to my knowledge, if there is any flood that affected IDP camps, but the fact is flooding affects anybody, that is living, where the areas are really susceptible to flooding. So this is the situation.
Okay, let's still talk about sensitization. You rightly pointed out the fact that the Nigerian Hydrological Agency and, of course, NIMET, they came up in good time to alert Nigerians on what we should expect between August, September, and part of October. Does it worry you that some subnational government and concerned agencies did not do much in terms of mitigation, in terms of ensuring that persons who are living in areas that are susceptible to flooding move away from where they are located?
Well, in reality, the issue is not about lack of sensitization or enlightenment. I think there was adequate sensitization and advocacy. There was, within the stakeholders, we held so many workshops to assess the preparedness of these agencies. It was okay, but the fact is, it's a natural phenomena. It always comes as a disaster. So the magnitude is so much such that even no matter the best plans you have, you might have some flashback out of what's happened. This is what really happened. Of course, I agree with you, some of the state governments in terms of mitigation aspect regarding clearing of the canals, dumping of refuse, building at floodplains and other inactivity on the part of governments exists. But the reality, actions taken so far after the enlightenment, or rather the information released by NIMET and NISA, it was we moved in and it was very good. People responded adequately, but to some who could not respond, obviously there is not much you can do other than maybe enforcement. And enforcement in the political system, particularly on the part of the state government, is usually difficult for them.
All right, now let's talk about what you do as DG of NEMA. Because when such a disaster occur, of course, all eyes will be focusing on NEMA. What have you been able to do? In other climes, we understand that even the military are usually drafted to assist in such situations. So how much of collaboration are also getting from bodies or agencies to ensure that those victims are actually assisted?
Well, first of all, you are talking of the aspect of disaster management that is purely response. I want to assure Nigerians, structurally, we have a very formidable and excellent structure, good enough to confront any disaster in the country. However, in the structure, we have some weak links which we are trying to build. The same as in most of the states are not, the capacity is not as required. So we have been working together, trying to do all we can to ensure that we build their capacity to respond to disaster. The structure we have in place is disasters are categorized into three: the catastrophic disaster, the major disaster, and the minor disaster. The operational structure made it such that the major and the minor disasters should be addressed by the State Emergency Management Agency. Whereas when it is catastrophic, that is when, after following the necessary process, federal response will come in. But today, that is not how it operates, because we have a weak link, like I rightly said. So, however, NEMA try as much as possible to move in. Sometimes we get overstretched, because even the smallest disaster in the most remote area, you discover NEMA's attention is brought in for the reason I've just explained.
Well, We also hear that some communities that were affected by flood had to cry out, before help came. Is it as a result of, non-preparedness of SEMA in such states?
Well, part of the structure I need to inform Nigerians and our viewers is we have 6 zonal offices, we have 7 operational offices and 2 territorial offices, altogether 15 offices altogether. So NEMA is close to the people, and we worked directly with the SEMAs to ensure that loop and corners of each and every state, we are there because we know they need us and they need support from us. So, that is how we go. So, the outcry, I'm not sure if there is such outcry as we've just mentioned, because there are incidences where under 24 hours, we responded to disaster under what we call pre-assessment response of relief. However, the conventional way of doing it is we have to carry out quick assessment, rapid assessment, identify the needs of the people, and then supply the necessary relief that is required. So, to the best of my knowledge, today it's a different NEMA. NEMA responds as quickly as possible with the immediate need of the people that are distressed. So far, we have about 130,934 people that are really affected this year as a result of this flood.
Across the nation?
Across the country. Across the country.
Are there any group of people needing relief materials at the moment?
Out of the 25 states I have just mentioned, we have responded to 19 states, and the remaining 6 states are in the stages of receiving our response.
How long will it take to do that?
Usually within 24 hours, 48 hours, sometimes maximum of 1 week. Yes, it's possible. It depends on the magnitude of the disaster.
Just in one word or two, what is the specific role of SEMA here? Because after all said and done, the SEMA still requires NEMA to come in for assistance. Can they start the response before NEMA comes in?
Well, so there are some states that are well prepared. I always give the example of Lagos, but most of the states, I must confess, they are with us. We try to catalyze their activities and support them to see so that people are not left unattended.
All right. Mustafa Mehaja, Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, would like to thank you for sharing your time here and, of course, educating Nigerians on the current situation with respect to flooding in the country. Thank you for coming.
It's a response to duty. Thank you very much.
All right. You're also watching Weekend File. We'll be back very shortly.
Hey, you! And are you how they talk to? I sabi you now. It's in your mind, Abi. The person with them go help us. Baba Torosa, Shangalo, Ogalekuva, Mr. Sabi. And you know if we carry last for this one.
A spear into the top corner.
We Sabi say Peking will crawl before in waka. So don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for it. Go for football. Go for Syria and La Liga matches live. Go for Go TV Max.
They are there at the crack of dawn. They are there busy preparing while we rise for our day. They are there silently, guarding, waiting, listening, and watching. They are there ready in the sky above and the waters below, in the blistering heat of the day, in the dead of night, willing, indefatigable, determined in the defense of the sovereignty of our country. They are our first line of defense and our last. They who have paid the ultimate price in defending us. They are fathers and uncles. They are mothers and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends. They are brothers and cousins and best friends and neighbors. They are classmates, colleagues, and citizens of this nation. They are our defenders and deserve our respect, our prayers, our thoughts. Nigeria, please support our armed forces.
Nigeria and Ghana begin battle for supremacy in the 2019 Independence Anniversary Golf Tournament in Abuja. Olumide Guntola has this and more on our sports update.
President Muhammadu Buhari says all forms of sports will receive adequate